Major problems. The dog cam is not working. Gotta look into it. Give me 1 minute, folks. Let's see. I know, awesome stream, right? Hold on, I'm looking for one little thing. I get the dog cam going again. Unplug that one. You guys still with me? You always show up slow anyways. Alright, we will set that up right there. That one can go away. Hey Mojito, why don't you come back, bud? So it started too. I didn't say I'd be ready. Just starting the stream. Give me 1 minute here again. Bam. Why no worky, Mojito? It's quite troubling. Alright, I'm just going to have to delete some stuff here and try to make a new one. Prepare yourself. Fresh. I'm going to rebuild my stream as I go along. Let's see, I got to have my video. That seems to be working. Greetings, and again, we'll get started here in a minute. I was actually trying to get an experiment going so I could do something really awesome and cool for this stream. And my experiment failed, and I will not be able to do that. But I am trying to get things back to normal. Here, I made some changes yesterday. They have not worked. Oh, I think I got something coming in there. All right, getting close. Earthquake! There we go. All right, a little bit closer there. Whoops. That's no good. That's also no good. Okay, that'll do. That'll do, pig. Alright, gotta get that back down there. Greetings. Again, just pretend it's your grandpa streaming. At least I know the camera's on. Hold on. Bam! Getting a little closer. Yeah, OBS doesn't seem to like having multiple cameras going at once. The general problem I'm seeing. It starts freaking out and not knowing which one to take, and I think it might also have something to do with the chroma thing that I have that I'm trying. Let me try switching that and see if that's working again. Fail. Alright, so I'm still out of luck on that one at least. I will give it another try soon. Let me try one more thing. And also fail. Alright! And my UPS just started popping. Anyways, I think we are just about ready here. Oh, Pooh, and the wife just messaged me to remind me that Maxine needs cupcakes for school tomorrow. The important things in life, because her birthday is actually this weekend coming up, is when she actually turns 5, so they're celebrating at her school. So I will have to go and take care of that shortly. Let's see, what was I going to talk about today? Oh, I was going to talk about player made dungeon encounter stuff. Let me get the game up and going. There's a couple things to tell you. One is craft totems at your own peril right now, because I accidentally set all the pieces as fuel. There's a little flag we can set on crafting recipes. So many little flags, so many things. But it was set as fuel, which not obvious what it means, but what it actually means is if you succeed, that part is destroyed. If you fail, that part is destroyed. So normally that's what would happen, like you break a glass vial or burn up the coal or whatever. But for the totems, what it means is like you try to craft, you got 4 tier 1 totems, you build a bunch, got them together and you try to craft a tier 2 totem, and when you fail, because they get harder to craft each time you go up, it destroys everything. Sorry about that. If you are one of the people who had that happen to you, feel free to mail me in game and I'll search for you and see if I can send you the correct totem back. Again, sorry for the clutter behind me, but that's a little bit of the excitement that I was going to talk about here today. Let me finish getting into game and then I will... Oh, I need to also pull up my chat. Did I swap out my face cam? No, my face cam stopped working right. That's actually what I was just fighting with a second ago. Oh, I hate that. When you pop out the Twitch chat thing, you lose all the chat history. Lame. So if you said anything important before now, you need to say it again because I just cleared my history when I pop out the chat Twitch history. Do. Resume. Alright, now I'm going into game. Let's see if I can get my game thing showing. Fail again. Gonna have to remove. And remove. See if this is working. Hey, at least that's working. Let's see. Got the game up. And yeah, and every time I change a camera, like just add one, remove one, it screws up everything on it. And I get the important ones up here. There we go. The dog cover, which is also conveniently to cover up my chat. Because I know a lot of you guys like sending me messages and stuff and don't want the world to see your messages. Get a little better picture on the dog. There we go. That looks pretty good. Dog is set. Now I just need me. Do. No one wants to see me that big. Gotta go redo the clipping and culling stuff on the sides there. But I guess that'll do for now. Got my chat covered up. I think I am set to start actually talking and doing stuff here. Let's see. So today I think I said I was going to talk about or show off some of the player encounter tiers. I will admit a little bit of that is because I need to do some testing on it. The creatures, the liches, as I mentioned, were set up to tier 20. They only have loot set up to tier 15. Tier 18 and tier 20 liches don't have anything. But I also want to make sure, go in and do a little test. I know they're weak for their tier. They should be crazy, crazy tough, and they're just pretty tough. I mean, they're probably, as mean as a boss lich or something like that. But they're not. I need to get some other special stuff on them. Just turning up their strength and int and dexterity does a little bit, but you guys, the better players, know how to always beat that stuff. The dog's name is Mojito. because our rule is we name our pets after things we love. And I think we're in a mojito phase at that point. We have a big mint bed out back, Yerba Buena mint for mojitos. So mojito's favorite drink, and so that's what our dog is named. And no, we did not almost name Maxine Margarita. That would have been good, but let's see. All right, let me get into the notes here. Again, pretend you're watching your grandfather stick his finger in his ear. Notifications. Hold on, I'm catching up on chat, and then I'll get into some more stuff. And yes, it's worse than a man cave. This is a collection of tech junk from hell here. Boxes and boxes of stuff, and every day there's a few more boxes because I have more in the garage that I'm trying to figure out how to unpack, what stuff to keep, what stuff to throw away. So before I jump into testing some of the player dungeon encounter stuff, which I need to do now because, as most people probably know, 1 week from today is our lockdown, which means we're supposed to be done, pencils down by next Thursday, and I still have a patch to get out tonight. It'll actually come out tomorrow morning, not tonight. Also, for those who are new to my stream, I'm very new to streaming. I'm obviously on camera a lot during our normal streams and have no problem being on camera. I'm just, I can't do two things at once. I'm still working on the whole streamer thing and getting all my stuff down, obviously, as I sit here and mess with cameras and can't get my chroma cam to work so you guys get to see my background and all that jazz. Let's see. But anyway, so I'm doing this for several reasons. Pizza money's nice, as people throw me bits and coins and stuff. But also, the main reason I'm trying to get on here and stream is, one, it seems like a great way to connect with you guys and actually find out some of the things that are really wrong with the game. We have the weekly hangouts that we're doing, but they're only an hour, and we're pretty tight on what we do, and I can't really just sit there and watch chat because I'm trying to be a presence, and I got Star by me, and I got to look cool and smart by Star, so I don't really get to interact with the players as much when I do those weekly streams. And I never can jump around and talk to people or give emotes or whatever, go PvP with them. So this is a better experience for that, and I think I'm able to better hook up with players and figure out some things that are wrong. I'm also keeping notes on everything that happens during the stream and going and fixing some of those things. Let's see. Trying to see which ones yesterday. There's a couple of them that got scheduled from the list from yesterday, but I'll go over those here in a little while and get back to my stream, my chat stream, that is. Let's see. But anyways, yeah, trying to get our Twitch audience up, trying to get more time on camera, because trying to get the Twitch partner, I think that's it. And I need 25 hours of stream in a month, and 13 or 12 days or something. Somebody can probably rattle off what the exact rules are, and average 75 viewers. So hang with me. So as I mentioned yesterday, feedback had been given that I should be giving away prizes and stuff like that, and I'd get more viewers. I'm still working out a system for that. Hopefully by next week. Tomorrow's the official stream, but hopefully by when I start streaming some more next week or this weekend, I'll have that worked out so I can do prizings. And it'll probably be, I'll probably mix it up and do it different from the others. I'll probably do it if you just say something in chat. I think there's some bots I need to get installed that I can do it there in the Twitch chat. The other thing I was going to do today, which I can get right into, is, since I have the ghetto cam on, you guys can see I'm wearing my gym shorts here. These have paint on them, I think. There's paint on them somewhere. But the area over here is now the official shipping area. And I am getting busy. Rick Chaox is finally getting back to us with some information on the remaining shipping stuff. For those who didn't know, right before we moved out of the office, about 2 weeks before we moved out of the office, Rick re-injured his back in a really bad way, like go to the emergency room multiple days way, and has not been able to help us with things, and pretty much is right now still homebound. Hopefully he's doing a little bit better, but he hasn't even been able to be up enough to like get to the computer and sit for any length of time. He's finally getting us some information now, so I should have the information I need to ship. He had been the owner of that between him and Sarah. But I think I have the information now. I'm still trying to correlate some of it, but I think I should be able to ship out those last few hundred boxes. Oh, and by popular demand, since I need some stream time, and I know you guys have low standards for what you're willing to watch if there are prizes involved, I will be doing some shipping streams hopefully next week. We'll see if I can get all the information from Rick and get it all set up and test it out before I do it. That's actually what I was trying to do right now, is test out some of it and was having some problems. But anyway, so I will be doing some live shipping streams. Where I'll be talking on camera and talking about stuff, and also shipping some of the boxes, so you guys can see your box. Also, if people are on the stream and want me to ship their box, I should be able to look things up. The problem I'm having right now is we don't have a good way to correlate between the different users and the usernames, and the addresses and the names don't quite match between the shipped list and the what they're owed and the overall list of the addresses and what's in each box. It's like there's a crazy amount of information I'm trying to correlate, which Rick had been owning before. But now I have inherited it. You can tell I'm really excited about it. But anyways, I will be doing a live shipping stream where I'm just showing myself shipping stuff and talking to the players about stuff. And I'll try to get on and answer some questions. But if you're one of the poor bastards who has not received your box yet, first, very sorry. But second, I will try to get your box. I will ship it on air and throw in some extra loot for you. Which is the other good news, is if you're one of the poor bastards who has not received their box yet, then not only are you going to still get your box, but I'm also going to throw in some extra booty with it, because we have all these artifacts left around from the office. So anyways, I'll try to get you some extra stuff in there, and you can watch me ship. Hopefully I can start that next week. I'll have enough lined up that I know what to do. Let's see. Vahiram question. By the way, I want a cloth world map, probably 5 to 7 releases ago on a live stream. I'm based in Europe. Do I have to pay for the shipping? I was able to ship those pretty cheaply to Europe because I can fold up the map. They qualify as a letter, and I was able to just ship them in. I've actually got the envelopes. Yeah, an envelope right here. Here's an example. Well, I just happen to have an example of the envelope I shipped them in. But I can just throw them in one of those guys and ship it as a letter, because it is soft. It is not more than, I think, a 1/4 inch thick once it's folded. And it falls within the weight restriction. So you shouldn't have to pay anything extra to ship the map. Again, that's one of those things that we had basically, I think anybody who's sent anything to CS knows, we had a major meltdown in our CS department, which is Sarah moved on to take a manager type position at another company in town. Absolutely super happy for her, by the way. We love Sarah, we miss her, and she was just way overqualified for the job she was doing with us. But shortly after that happened, basically the week after that happened, after she left, is when the other half of our CS team, Rick, suffered his back injury. So we basically, CS went from 2 to 0 in a 1 week period, and that also included the guys that were doing the shipping. So that's where the last of the shipping went. But anyways, I'm taking over that stuff now. I'm taking over the shipping part. We have Anna. We need to get her a dev name, something other than that, so we don't have to call her Anna. If you want to annoy her, you can call her Anna, which I do quite frequently, unintentionally, because I have a 4-year-old girl who likes Frozen, and that's how you say Anna's name in Anna. So, but anyways, she's going to be catching up on CS stuff. She's still working on it, and she's still learning the ropes. And again, we've got a couple people who are out for an extended amount of time that would be the people that would also be helping her learn some of that stuff. So It's going a little slower than I wanted it to, but we do have someone who's learning the ropes. She has already replied to 100+ messages and is still working on it. Okay, let me look at your messages here. So let's see. I said I was going to be taking questions. I'll be doing that. Secondly, talking about shipping. That's what I was just saying is, again, since I don't have my chroma thing on, you can see the boxes I've left to ship over there. You guys can watch my stream over the next few weeks, months, and watch those, hopefully those boxes shrink. So they all vanish. There's actually multiple shelves of them. You can only see the one there, but they're like stacked 2D up and down that thing. But that's the shipping news, is anybody who's one of the poor bastards who still hasn't had their stuff shipped to them yet should be getting shipped, and you should get shipped on camera. All right, I also said offering special rewards to celebrate more shipping. That's what I put in my stream note. That was actually going to be, and I'm going to try to figure this stuff out, and maybe I can do it next week. But one of the things I found we had were, we made a bunch of coins. I expect Frank, Master of the Mint, Frank, helped with the coins just because he helps with all coins and knows more about coins than we do by a mile at this point. But we had some extra coins that we had. I think we have about 500. I'm not sure how many is a box. We have 2 boxes, and I think they're $2.50 per box. But they are quite nice. They're not the Founders coin. They're just challenge coins that we would hand out at the trade shows. And we had some extras left around. And since I was going to be shipping stuff anyways, shipping boxes, I was going to do a special thing that if anybody bought a 10,000 crown bundle while I was doing the shipping, or while I was on the stream, that I would ship them one of these for free in addition to that. So you get a free physical coin. And these are pretty heavyweight. I don't want to hit it on my phone. I'm trying to find something to hit it on. Here's an expensive hard drive. I mean, these are heavy coins. These are actual metal coins. These are not like plasticky toy things. But anyways, I would be shipping you guys one of these things because I've identified that I can ship them for basically 60 cents or so. And I just put them with a piece of cardboard and tape them up and throw them in an envelope and send them off to you. But anyways, maybe I'll do that next week. We will see. Oh, and it's not the same when we do the prizing and we don't require a purchase for them. That's because it's a random thing. If it's legal for me to give away, you buy something and I send you something extra because I'm doing it for everybody. It's not a random thing. In case anybody was wondering on that. Let's see. I'm going to catch up. Stone chisel. You guys probably need some context. Yesterday we thought the crafting of totems wasn't working. It actually was working. You have to do it at the smelting table, not the blacksmithing table. The smelting table, and you put in 100 essences and a stone chisel. I just saw that in there, and somebody was helping somebody else out. Again, though, I would probably wait until after this next patch if you're going to do a bunch of them. Because both the totems and the tier 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 recipes are marked as fuel, and so are the essences for the tier 1 recipes. So if you fail on them, it destroys everything. So yeah, I would wait a little while on those. That should be out. I'm going to start the build tonight before I go to bed, which means that the build should be ready for morning and be published. That will also come with a couple other things. That'll come with a little bit of a bump to the envy bow, I think. It'll come with a, let's see what else. Dungeon encounter rooms will no longer spawn unless they have at least a tier 1 totem. So you'll have to have a tier 1 totem, but that, again, this is give you a way so you can make it so they don't spawn. So it's not always spawning, other than turning off adventure mode. If you want to have some rooms, that's a cool room, but you don't want to have stuff spawning in it. There's a few other things I'm trying to remember. It'll come to me. I got a little while here. For those who noticed, and sorry about those of you who have day jobs, we like you because you have money and stuff. But I'm trying to do these a lot, so I'm doing them during the day before my 4-year-old daughter gets home, because as much as possible. You guys are my second favorite thing in the world. Maybe third behind Mojito. Maybe fourth behind my wife. I'm not quite sure. But Maxine is my favorite thing in the world, and I spend time with her whenever possible. And, is there a head on someone's putting heads on? I did. I turned on one of these floaty things so you guys can do some icon stuff. I don't even know how it works. Maybe you guys know how it works. You're throwing faces at me and stuff, I think. Maybe. Yeah, there goes a head. Some more heads. Apparently, you guys know how that works. I don't know how that stuff works. Anyways, let me get back over here and I'll get the questions. Get through some more questions for you guys. But I'm going to try to stream for at least an hour, maybe an hour and a half. Kind of depends on when my 4-year-old gets home. Let's see. Can we get a slightly higher decoration stack limit? Just getting it with 6 or 7 would help immensely. Oh, well, that's how many things you can stack one on top of the other. Yeah, I mean, it's set at 5 right now. There's some small performance implications in making it stack higher. The real things, we just didn't want people building to the moon and beyond, which they already do by stacking columns one on top of each other and then putting a chair up on top of it and all that crazy stuff. So, yeah, let me get that on the list. We cap you in, so there's a max height to how high you can build now, so it's not quite as crazy. I'm not sure we had a real number. I think 5 is the number I put in the document when I wrote up the technical design for crafting 5 years ago or whatever. So yeah, so we can consider bumping that up. Let me get that in my notes. Bump up max stack limit, because you guys totally can't do enough crazy crap with 5 as a stack limit. 4 decos from 5 to... Here we go. Alrighty. Going through some more questions here. Yes, Summer Breeze, if you send in an email to support, hopefully you'll be on that stream. And again, I'll try to watch the stream while I'm packing these things. And a lot of the work I have to do is just because there was a lot of loose ends left over. I have to, like, I've got a list of here's everybody in bad format that should ever have gotten a box. And then I've got a list of here's the boxes that were hand shipped by us. And then there's another doc of here's the ones that we think that our French friends shipped. And then we've got a box, another one that's like all of the returns, and none of them have any common element to them. They don't have like a common, if they had like a easy ID, and the names, well, one, the names are munged into a big long string, so they're hard to extract automatically. And then 2, some of them it's name and then the address, and then on one of them, there's not even like names for the things. It goes by like pledge ID. So anyways, I'm having a nightmare time correlating it. But if you guys know you need your boxes and you can message me in game, of course, because dog cam protects your privacy. As I have a few people messaging me right now and you didn't even know. I will look you up, verify what you're supposed to be getting, verify we have what we need to send to you, and then I will ship it on air for you. So yeah, get on the stream next time. Again, totally not trying to bribe you guys into watching my stream so I can get that Twitch partner and buy more pizza. Woo, up to 100 viewers. Perfect. Let's see. Welcome, Rufus. Of course, you wouldn't miss a stream. Let's see. I'm going through the questions here. Again, reminder, I suck at multitasking still. And old dogs are slow to learn new tricks, so we'll see. Oh, can we get the mannequin in game? That's one of the things I've wanted forever. And I'm not sure what the holdup has been on that, other than it's not as easy as most people think. But yeah, we just don't have a way that you can have an avatar. I mean, I think the way we looked at doing it at one point was basically it would become an NPC to be like a headless NPC that you could put stuff on. But even those, we don't have the ability to dress NPCs from a player standpoint. So yeah, I would love to have mannequins in game. It solves some other problems too, like making store stuff. Because right now, if you place a deco for clothing in your house, it usually folds up into like some little pile. But so we can't use that version of it. We can't use that icon or whatever that is for our store stuff. So it'd be great if we had some way that we could prop it up properly. The drop rates for Kabbalist hoods has changed. Was this intentional? I do not know if that is true, and I do not know if it was intentional. I did not change it, but yes, that is one. I know that's the thing you guys really want off those guys are the hoods. I can check to see, but again, I did not change it. If it was changed, there's probably a good reason for it, though. Kabbalist loot. Give me 1 second here. Bam. Hold on. I know this is great streaming when you just ignore the camera and what people are doing and look at junk, but you guys requested it. Hold on. So you are correct, but to be clear, it looks like sieges were way outperforming what we would expect for scenes for their risk to reward, but the drop rate was changed from. And since you guys probably won't believe me here, let me see if I can get this on camera for you. Here's the change in the drop loot. Let me get a window up here. Add window capture. Hold on. There you go. So in case you're wondering, the number did change. It went from 1 in 40 to about 1 in 60. So 2.5% chance to drop to 1.5% chance to drop. So it's not like it was cut by 10 or something like that. I'm surprised you guys would actually notice, but that is actually, and I'm not fooling with you here. You can see that's a loot drop Kabbalist corpus. So that's, you guys are correct, but it is very minor drop in reduction in drop rate. And again, that was one of those things. There's a lot of things that come out of there that are highly valuable, and it had been deemed as being too rewarding, is what it looked like. Let's see. Smelting table. Yes, smelting table is what you use. Smelting table and stone chisel is what you need to make totems. Again, though, craft at your own risk. Because they are set to fuel, which means if you fail, everything gets destroyed. Merrick Dragon says, I have 3 different coins. I have like 50 at this point. Frank has made us a ton of different coins, and I've like even bought when he's come down for Christmas parties, he's made like some special coins, and I bought those special coins. I got so many coins, and I got boxes and boxes and boxes of coins hanging around here. You'll not beat me on coin collection. I do not want my coins, though. I'm trying to give them away. Let's see. Question, are there still Royal Founders box that need to be shipped? I wouldn't want mine as lost. Antrex, well, if you're in game, why don't you message me your actual name, and I will look in the spreadsheet for you real quick and see if I can figure out what's up with yours. There were a bunch that shipped. We had a bunch that were returned from the original shipping stuff just due to bad addresses or who knows what. But the Founders boxes, see, this is the most unfortunate part of the shipping. Which is the people who helped us the most, got in earliest, gave us more money, that type of stuff. They're more likely to be the ones who still have not received their box. So our big thank you to our most loyal supporters. is that we are the latest on shipping their boxes. And right now we're still missing some stuff because Richard hasn't signed things. I can do many of the boxes. I can't quite do all of the boxes. And I have two people messaging me now. The thing I'll actually need to look you up is, I think I need your actual human name, as in the name your parents gave you. Again, you can send it to me in chat. That's not public, and I've got it covered with a dog. But that's the one list I know I've got on both of these things, and I can search for a name, and it'll show up as part of a substring. So I'm waiting for those guys to tell me that I've got the list over here, though, to send to verify what's happened to your box. All right, I got an actual name. Let me go check. 10 is one of the guys on there. So yours is not on the secondary ship list. Let me check on the primary ship list. Hold on. So 10, I'm not showing you on either of the lists, and that actually helps me some. Because if you're sure you've got it, that's more information I need from Rick, who's now able to do some queries for us. So he's going to try to get that information, but I do not show anybody by your name. And I was just searching on your last name. Again, awesome stream material, right? Let me do one more person here, and then Memner's got a cool real name. Cool name, dude. I like that. All right, and you're not showing up on this one either. Let me see if you're showing up on this one. Okay, I'm already hating this. Neither of you guys are showing up on my list, which means if 2 out of the 2 first guys who pinged me on this, there's obviously some addresses I do not have here. So it's a good thing we finally have Rick back on his computer, and he can get this for us. I will check up on you. I'm going to start at a 3rd page here in my spreadsheet to look you guys up. And hold on. Let me find your names. I am so happy I inherited this. Oh, Antrax has a cool name too. And you're not on that one. All right, so there's a whole set of people on here that I don't have. I'm making notes on you guys so I can make sure and get this information from Rick and make sure you guys are on the other ones. I absolutely believe you. There's no way all 3 of you are lying to me. So this is good information, as I have just been saying that, like, I'm having a nightmare time trying to correlate these things and nothing really makes sense. So this is good to get information to find out that I clearly do not even have all the information I thought I had. It's going to be spectacular. It's going to be awesome. Oh, yeah, Memner, that I won't say it out loud, but yeah, that name is even cooler knowing that you're a scientist. All right, I'm gonna get back to reading stuff over here. I've got you guys down in the list. Memner and Antrax and 10. Let me get 10 down. But I'll make sure, I'll give Rick this information and make sure whatever query he pulls has you guys in it as an example. So that was actually very useful for you guys to tell me your name so I could go and try to figure some of those out. Let's see. Somebody said, did you say your favorite things are Maxine, your dog, and then your wife? Okay, the wife should probably come after Maxine. But the dog never tells me to do chores or anything. Right, dog? Am I right? Mojito? Yeah. Fist bump. Boop. He is a pretty cool dog. Let's see. Going back, reading over the questions again, sorry. But trying to catch up with questions, and then I will start on the dungeon stuff and go down to my dungeon and place some of the totems so we can see what the liches look like. Which will also be really exciting streaming content because it's going to be me racing into the dungeon, placing the totem, racing out of the dungeon, switching it to adventure mode, racing into the dungeon, trying it out, getting killed. Racing out of the dungeon, switching it out of adventure mode, racing into the dungeon. Doesn't that sound exciting? I'll make sure and use the 5 minecart one, so the first entrance is like a good 30-second runaway. Alright, let me close that one down. There we go. Ehondas asks, Chris mentioned in a previous stream that he was thinking of adding an option to increase the draw distance and stuff for people with high performance GPU and such. Hey Chris, still gonna do this, please? So most people are actually not blocked by their GPU if they have, even a modestly good GPU. The machine I'm on here is using an AMD 480, which is kind of their mid-tier-ish. I mean, they're like $200 or less. And $200 or less a couple years ago. And I'm absolutely CPU bound on this thing, even though I have a crazy fast CPU. So that's I can give some updates on that. So one, we want to put more control into your guys' hands in terms of giving you some stuff and switch up how we do our quality settings. And basically just give you a bunch of the sliders in case you want to mess with things, but then give you what we have now, where we have the fastest, whatever, and then also then just make custom. You can just go and tweak yourself whatever you want to. There's some big changes going on right now in Unity that we're trying to take advantage of. We haven't had much luck with taking advantage of new Unity performance stuff lately. It generally just makes our crash rate go through the roof. That's what happened this last release when we turned on texture streaming, was we had people say, yay, performance is noticeably better. And then we could see our crash rate climb and climb and climb until like half the people or something crazy were exiting through crash rather than through willingly exiting. But we do have a few more things we're going to be trying in terms of performance stuff. So there's kind of two situations. The normal situation when you're in a pot and not a ton of stuff is going on is one performance problem. That generally is there's just too much crap to draw, but it is too much crap to draw and it's bogging down the CPU, not the GPU side of things. It's actually the management of all those objects. We've got some things we can do to improve that, but it's a tough problem to solve with a everything dynamic world. We can do some baking stuff together, but then you're talking about swapping out, as many times happens, the performance trade-off you can get is if you spend more memory, you can get a little more performance. So we're trying to avoid doing that option. The thing we're actually looking at right now, one and only who may be watching this stream, is supposed to be working on, is we're trying to move to Unity's new rendering pipeline with the SRP and HDRP, and that's like, it's basically a programmable rendering pipeline that's thinner. The SRP is probably not going to be an option, it looks like. That's the simple rendering pipeline. It's single pass forward rendering, and can do multiple lights in forward rendering per pass. For those who don't know, that's like the big difference between rendering and deferred. Is generally forward rendering is you pay the price, the cost to render something is however much it costs to render it times the number of lights touching it. As kind of the old formula. Now some of that's changed because we've got some instance rendering stuff and some things we can do, but it still gets way more expensive. The deferred rendering is rather than quick, it turned into a tech talk here. The deferred rendering is instead of calculating the light, and each light that touches things forces a re-render of those things. The simple way to explain it is it renders everything once, and you can imagine it knows not only the color of the pixels on your screen, but it also knows your like Z depth, how far away from you it is, and it knows where the lights are. And then instead of it re-rendering a bunch of objects, it renders everything once, and then renders it again, and then takes the whole screen looking at the Z depth buffer, the how far things are away from you, and then builds the light into that. I'm using my hand to gesture at a screen you can't see here. Again, pretend your grandpa's streaming. But anyways, that's kind of the difference between the forward and deferred. But the simple forwarding has some tricks in it. The simple render pipeline has some tricks, so it can do multiple lights, but it does limit it to a single shadow caster is the latest limitation we found that basically put a knife in the simple one. We're going to be looking at the HD one, but again, if it can't fix our CPU problems, there's not much reason for us to move to it. And the CPU problems generally, it's all in object management. Now that's the kind of it's just a really crowded town, like you're in Arteris or something. Oh, Bobby Undone is messaging me to correct me and say it's the lightweight rendering pipeline. Whatever, not using it. But yeah, so we're looking at the new rendering pipeline stuff to see if there are benefits. And again, though, if it doesn't fix and decrease CPU load or give us some extra multi-threading on the CPU load side of things, then there's not much point in us switching to it right now because most of you are not GPU bound. What was I saying? Oh, that was in terms of the extending view distances. So yeah, so we do hope to extend the view distances. Another big change we're making for the Unity stuff. We'll see how it goes. We'll probably get a QA build out on Monday that has this in it, so we can start testing early and often. Which is we are switching to 2018.3 finally. Unity 2018.3. We tried this in the past. It had some serious problems, but I think we've worked through most of the problems. Again, that's much of what we spent our time on is sadly trying to find ways to work around problems in Unity. And this is one that the thing that broke for us was they changed up physics stuff, and they apparently didn't have any good unit test to verify that it was actually still working as it was before, because our collision for our house placement broke, which is a really tedious thing, and it's not just house, it was house and deco placement. Exact same code, exact same function calls, but it was returning collisions in places where it didn't used to return collisions. And I'm pretty sure you guys would not be happy if we put out a build where you couldn't decorate anymore or place a house or a lot down or something. So anyways, One and Only is working on that, and I'm pretty confident he'll come up with a solution for it. But hopefully we can get on 2018.3. There's a few other things that opens up for us, but the bigger thing is Unity also has a bad habit of when they fix bugs, they put it only into the latest build, and then they take their sweet time about integrating it to older builds like we were on. So let's see. Let me get back to questions here. But yes, we do plan on extending the render distance and making that, again, a slider for you guys so you can extend that out. Because it is rarely the thing that kills us. Another big one that's going to be coming up is the instanced terrain stuff. I forget if that's experimental in 2018.3 or not, but basically that lets us, it is a massive speed up to terrain rendering, which isn't a problem in many scenes since we've switched to a new, better shader and terrain system. But there's in big scenes like Blood Bay, that can actually show up on the performance meter is one of the more costly things. The other reason why we're pushing to get to that is right now we're still in the heavy talks of how we're going to do the overworld on episode 2. There's still a few ideas being thrown on, but that may actually turn into the last idea, at least that I threw out, that I'm trying to get to stick, is that the overworld is not really an overworld, but it's actually a scene, and that each of those big islands is a single large scene that is in the order of 2K by 4K, 2 kilometers by 4 kilometers. So imagine Blood Bay more than twice as long and probably wider because that one didn't use all the terrain that it had available. But anyways, that's just one of the things we're talking about as an option. If we could get the terrain side of that fixed, the cost to cull things outside your camera range is not that bad on the CPU, and we think we can manage it. But anyways, I'll get back to questions here. Rufus, you got laid off? Sorry, man. You're in Austin. Everybody's hiring in Austin. You do have some free time. Maybe you can come pack some boxes for me. No, my wife wouldn't let people in the house right now. The house is a disaster, and she's pretty touchy about how the house looks, which is why dog is number 2 on the list instead of the wife. That's not true. It's a tie. Let's see. Yeah, in Austin right now, man, there's so many people hiring. But again, it all depends on your field. Any chance to increase the number of NPCs we can place on our lots? I'd like to place at least one more vendor on my village lot. That's one of those things that we turned on reluctantly, and I have not had a chance to go back and do a profile on. So how about if I try to get a profile on that to see if it's actually NPCs on lots is actually a performance problem, because that's the bigger concern. And if it is not, then we should be able to turn that up. Again, though, that's one I want to go check a few big towns and see if it actually looks like it's showing up on profile. In case it wasn't clear, the reason we have a limit on those is performance. So, profile crowded city with a lot NPCs to see if we can turn up the count. Undun's watching this. He'll probably chime in and scream, "No!" Let's see. Is it intentional that a water well cannot be placed in a player dungeon? Well, it's probably not intentional. I think that is, it's probably set so you can't place it inside a house. And I think we're using the can it be placed inside as a flag check for the dungeons. But I'm not sure it makes sense, but if it goes with your deco, I can go look into that and see if I can turn on placing inside. Water well placeable in dungeons, question mark. All right, working through. Haven't done much dungeon stuff yet, but I am getting your questions answered, and this is something you guys don't get as much of anymore in the live streams, because we're always showing off stuff and have our tight schedule to go through and talk about the things coming up. Oh, poor puppy dog. Mojito, do you want me to cover you up? The answer to that is yes, always yes. I'm going to leave him a little bit exposed there because I don't want. There you go. You guys know he's still there. Let's see. Made a note on the water well. Artemis asks, question, so when the row house quests come in, you mentioned a reduction in the row house footprint cost to pots. What kind of numbers are you thinking on that? So those will actually probably be cut in half for what they were if we end up going the route that I've been talking about us going, which is You'll be able to choose very early on in the quest line, basically when you get to outskirts. Do you want to be an adventurer? Do you want to be go on the quest and start your epic adventure, or would you rather start life as a homesteader? If you start life as a homesteader, obviously you can always get back and pick up the quest or whatever. But if you do the homesteader, it'll pick a random open pot row lot and teleport you to that. We're going to keep a close eye on that to make sure one exploits like people aren't griefing by just going and making 100 different characters. Seriously, you guys need more to do with your time if that's what you're going to do. But that is what Travis immediately said, is that's what he was going to do, is go and grief us. But if that does happen, then we will also look at something like making the no trade row lots usable in player run towns, or just make row lots in general usable in player run towns rather than in pots. Make those the one thing that can carry over to a player run town, not a normal city, but a player run town. So we've got quite a few of those we could open up. Let's see. Reading. Merrick Dragon says, what do you mean when the row house quest comes in? I have a friend who started and did the quest, got a row house. So this is actually going to be changing it to move it so you get that house earlier in the quest line. And we'll give you the option to get it earlier. And you can basically skip the whole quest line and go straight into homesteading, owning a house, and it'll basically send you to a thing, give you a quick quest line on claim your deed or your lot, place your house, place some decos, and get players started on that right away. And honestly, just for total transparency, some of this is because I know this will shock you guys. I know, but there's a few bugs in the quest system. And it's one of the things we talked about is, what do we want to do for players coming in? What is the thing we fear most? And honestly, one of the things we fear the most is them getting started and like going and diving straight into a bunch of quests right off the bat and getting into some buggy quest stuff. So Undone, who's apparently watching this and correcting me on technology terms, he's putting together some spreadsheets and some data mining so we can try and identify more of those quests. And for a lot of them, we're going to, if they're buggy and they're not a main quest line, we will likely be pulling the quest completely and just removing it. We'll remove the starting point. Cutting the head off the snake is what I've been saying, is keep it so new players can't start those quests. For the main quest line, we've got to fix those and we've got to get those in. But anyways, that's part of the reason, the logic, reasoning behind the let players start as a homesteader, is because rather than show them the not super satisfying quest experience, that yes, we know that we need to fix that. But we're going to be fixing that more in episode 2. There's only so much we can do for episode 1 at this point. And we're going to be trying to do some of that, but again, we can't do it all. But anyways, rather than give them the buggy experience of the quest line that can be frustrating for a new player, instead starting with what we believe is one of our stronger things, which is home ownership, home deco, and get them started on that. All right. I'm going to be looking down the list here, going down the list, trying to catch up. Let's see. Got my Yinky1 asks, what about the novel? So Star had something that he was lined up with that, but again, the same problems we're having with even me finding people who know they need boxes, they were supposed to get boxes. We have the same issues with that. But the last I heard, the plan was once we get all that stuff settled out, that'll be the last thing that gets sent out. But right now it's obvious. I don't even have a good list of the addresses. I have a couple hundred addresses I know, but as we just saw, the first 3 people who gave me names were not even on the list of people we ever had on a list to send boxes to. So I've got to find, there's clearly some data I'm missing that hopefully Rick will be able to get for us now. And also, in case people are wondering, Rick doesn't have some magic. But it's a lot of database query stuff that he's been the guy who's been doing it. And before I sink a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks of programmer time into going and trying to debug what's going on and find the data that we need and correlate themselves, I'd rather have Rick do it just because he's already had exposure to it. Soda Vespers. Hey, Vespers. Because I may have missed the answer already. Do we get totems back from failed crafts? Don't craft unless you want to take a chance. But if you message me in game, I can pull up in my data log and see that you failed, and I'll send you a fixed totem. Hopefully, not too many people failed, because that's going to be a huge time sink. Let's see. I'm going down here. Going down, reading. Man, I'm way behind on messages. I need shorter answers on things. I'm going all yes, no. Yes, no, no, yes. Soda Vespers, has the Tier 3 Lich dungeon not giving XP's been discussed? No, it has not. I am not sure why that would be the case. So there's some magic that happens on the back end. I need to get one and only looking at that. There's some magic that we have because we have a lot of server checks in place to make sure, like, you can't just be in the middle of random scene and create a giant and have them give you all the rewards for a giant. We actually check and do some logic checking, so that's one of the things that's made that made the encounters a little bit difficult. So we had to go back and break some of those systems for specific cases like this. My guess is he tested it for 2 tier levels, and I bet he did not test it for above 2 tier levels. If we find that's the case, I guess I can go verify here in just a minute. But that would be a big one. Let me message Justin on that, aka one and only players, saying that tier 3 and above Lich encounters don't give experience. They are and yeah, like I said, he actually finished up that system and he tested it and I tested it, but we only tested it for the 2 level up to tier 2. So anyways, that may be one more patch after that, because obviously we want to have some rewards for the liches as they get tougher. Alright, let me get back to my chat. I think I'm catching up. I think I'm moving faster than you guys are. Rufus, are the CPU limits related to multi-threading? Multi-threading in Unity? What? They try in Unity, but as one of the recent articles said, kind of gave us an idea of what the depth of the problem is. C++ is not a very good language for multi-threading. That's how one of their articles started off. Really? Really? But anyways, yeah, so it's not... Unity will use basically 1.5, 2 cores, 2.5 cores max. There's some things we can do to go back and rewrite some of our systems to move them into being threaded. But generally what we've seen is it's not our systems that are the problem, it's their systems that are still not thread safe that we call into. Yes, I do have a love-hate with Unity. And this is one of those things, I do hate on Unity a lot, and there's a lot of things I could do better. I love the engine. I love a lot of the stuff they do with it, and I have some dislikes for the company and how they manage their quality control. As you guys know from crashing and memory explosions and other random stuff that actually don't have anything to do with us. And we can't even debug because most of their debugging tools fall apart in a game the size of ours. Yes, but as I've said before, by the time you finish any game, you'll hate whatever engine you're working on. It doesn't matter if it's Unreal or something else. Although at least if we were on Unreal, we could actually debug what was going on because they give you the source code, and we can't get Unity to give us the source code without trying to charge us a crazy amount. Let's see. I'm continuing down the list. Ring slot. I think I mentioned that the other day. Let me make sure I had that on my list. I would love to get a ring slot in. A second ring slot in. The question was, what about a ring slot 2? A second ring slot for a second ring. That's what I was saying. Was I jokingly answered that it would be we'd add that for episode 2 players when they go down there. There's some rings you can only wear on your left hand. But yeah, I would love to get more rings in. That was actually in the original design, and we simplified a lot of the stuff that was in the original design. But really, the things like rings and necklaces or amulets or whatever that don't have a physical representation on the character, those are the ones that we can have nearly as many of those as we want to, as long as we have reasons to have them, and give you guys more ways to itemize and max out and plan stuff. And that's because we don't have to, like, you don't see the ring on your character. That's where it gets tough, is if you want, boots, and split up boots into and your socks, make those 2 different item things. I guess that would be one we could do, is we could have like magic socks, because your socks wouldn't really show unless you're wearing like high waters or something. But anyways, the art for that is what I'm getting at, is the part that's tough. Like if we wanted to split up your shirt into shirt and sleeves and gloves or whatever, we have to do different art and worry about how those things fit together. Yeah, rings is one we definitely could do. Second ring slot. Uh-oh, I'm going idle. Question: Are you still thinking about ore nodes and player dungeons? Yes, and that's one that it'll come along with some of the adventures. I'm not sure I'll have that in for R54. In fact, I'm pretty sure I won't, since I haven't even started testing that yet. But that is one that's planned, is to have some of the adventure rooms only when they have creatures in them, but also have ore nodes as just kind of one of the rewards for the room. Catching up. Catching up. Hold on. Wait for it. Let me see. Whoop, staying steady at 100 people. That's good. I gotta keep my average at 75. Don't leave me. Don't leave me. Let's see. Andernut, speaking of people who haven't had their stuff shipped, I believe you have not had your stuff shipped. Rick was not sure, but I know you've got a bunch of boxes that you're supposed to be getting. So hopefully we're going to get that sorted out soon. But I will let you know in case you're late to the stream. That's I was talking about. We apparently have an incomplete address list, and we're trying to get a complete address list from Rick. But starting next week, assuming we can get this sorted out, I'm going to do at least a couple streams a week where all I'm doing is shipping packages. And if you're one of the people on the stream who is owed a package, you'll be able to tell me your name, and I'll ship your package while you watch. So, anyways, let me get back to questions. I'm trying to catch up. Mojito is sleeping. Mojito is always sleeping. Oh, he managed to hide more of himself. You can only see his little paw. He does this little thing where he does like his hand down. Tired of hearing Dad talk, so he covered his head. Yes, that's right. He is enjoying me being home, by the way. Basically, this is where he sleeps 12 hours a day when I'm in here working. All right. I think I got caught up on questions. And yes, all the big boxes behind me, I think that's about how many I owe Andernut. But I'm done with the questions here. I think I can go test out some dungeon stuff. What's that town I go to? Oh, that's right, Ordinus Mortis. You-do-do-do. Good news, I got a little time here left. The wife has not called yet, which means she's not... I got a message back from Justin with some possible causes. I'm sure I got some important mail here. I'm not going to open it here. You guys don't need to see what mail is going on. I will add these friends. Hey, it's Mimner and Tazar. Alright, and for those who don't know, here's my dungeon. And yeah, you guys can zone to me or whatever. If you want to come check out some of these things. Enable dungeon adventure mode. Now I'm going to say no, and I'm just going to enter in deco mode. One and only said, oh! Probably didn't do XYZ. I'll check. This is one of the nice things about having being on the stream is I don't have to do real work. I just have to talk to you guys. Hold on, I gotta hide a thing again. This is so hard. There it is. Alright, let's see. I think I've got, I'm gonna swap that. Is that? Yeah, I still got that hole in there. Travis has a fix for that. I'm not sure where that is right now. Let me come down here. You know, since I'm gonna do this like 19 or 20 times, I'm actually gonna come down here and just pick up this whole dungeon, put a different dungeon down. Just had somebody say, oh, there's motion at my front door. Someone requests to summon. Hold on 1 minute, because I'm going to go change out my dungeon. If I summoned you in here, it'd be awkward when you got thrown into the abyss. Yes, so you guys shouldn't need transition pieces for the blueprints. We need to update the piece so it automatically picks the transition. That's one that will. That's probably going to be a one and only thing. And he actually said he had some time right now, so he's working on the rendering pipeline. But let me see if I've got any other dungeons. Change dungeon. Wah, wah. Fail. Alright, hold on. Let me cheat. Hold on. Again, stream performance may go to poo-poo because I'm trying to add the... or have Unity open. I am going to take... Hold on, I'm still looking for a foyer. Got it. Hold on, wait for it. I'll do the brown marble. Did I not do a space? I don't think I did a space. There we go. You do. There we go. So now I need to go into this dungeon and let me do a quick. I'm assuming that person wants to come see this. And one and only found the problem, but can't change it because he's on a different version of Unity than everybody else is using. So somebody will fix it, and we'll get that in a patch. Hey, I'm done. You're probably watching this. Justin has a thing for you to fix. He can't do it because he's on 2018.3. You are not. Hopefully you can change this. He'll tell you what to do. And then I can get into a patch immediately after the stream, hopefully. So yes, once again, congratulations. Your reward for achieving something great is... it's broken. I gotta go find my dungeon. Hold on, let me go find the... Encounter. Got it. Check out. Oh. Oh. Cancel. Hey, it's applesauce. There we go. So again, we're in here. This is no totem has been placed, and we're in deco mode. So this is not going to do anything yet. But that's why I placed a smaller dungeon. So actually, let me go ahead and place a big thing here. Let me see if I can find my totems. Totem. Got it. We'll try one of these guys. We'll see how this one does. This is like a tier 12-ish. I think. Level 5. Let's see what level 5 does. No one else wants to come try out the level 5 liches? We'll see what happens here when I switch it from adventure or from deco to adventure mode with somebody in there. I think it's supposed to be victim, but I'm not sure. I kick them out to the outside of the lot. Hasn't been tested very well. Ooh, I'm zoning. Good chance for me to read up on questions. Let's see. Oh, Belladonna Rose, I actually do have a note on that. The pants legs, if you put on the peg leg and then put on boots afterwards, it screws them up horribly. I do have a note on that. Going down the questions here. Can we do something about tips flying all over the screen when we mouse over another monitor? Oh, you're talking about tips in the game. I thought you were talking about tips on Twitch. Because you can't complain about tips on Twitch. That's my pizza money, man. Yeah, it's the same thing. I see it all the time, too. Like the app in front of it, it's not properly saying, is the mouse actually over me or is there a screen in front of me? I'm not sure how tough that is to fix, to be perfectly honest. Let's see what happens when I switch this to adventure mode. See what happens to applesauce. Gonna make applesauce out of applesauce. Oh, looks like it kicked him out. Working as designed. Time to go back in and see what it does. For those arriving late, we're trying out the dungeon encounter stuff. There's a bug now where if you have tier 3 or above, it's not properly giving experience. Somebody's working on fixing that right now. Hopefully Undone is fixing that for me, even though it's my bug. Let's see. I've got God mode on, so I don't care how tough they are. Question, was the Envy bow nerfed? Yes, it was nerfed from its initial... Let's see how tough these guys... Oh yeah, these guys are pretty tough. I'll let Applesauce and the other guys be. Tell me what you think. Are these tier 3 quality creatures? Come on, Applesauce, give me some feedback here. Looks like he's dying. These are actually supposed to be tier 5. Trying to invite him in. Run, sucker! Okay, so these are tier 5. These are actually maybe tier 15, tier 18. So each one of these guys should be roughly equivalent to a like a boss in another scene, like imagine the Lich or the Rise or some other. Let's see. Summon. Yeah, if you guys want to come test out the Lich quality here to see if these guys feel like what the tier 5 totem should be. Again, there's a tier 6 above this that is basically these guys even more on steroids. But what I want to do is get some more boss type stuff into them so they actually have some other features to them. And it's not just, you know, super high hit points and health and strength and stuff. Seems like maybe. Let's see. How are they doing? Yeah, they moved his health a little bit. They managed to pull one guy out and get him to stay out here. That's probably due to they have a leash distance and the other one's leashed back, but this guy has a totally different spawn. That's one thing I can talk about. There's just more tech stuff. Yay, it's Tech Dr. Chris. Which is there's different types of spawns that happen in the world. Some are like unique spawns where they have no relation to others. Some are group spawns, so there'll be like 5 guys, or we'll mark 10 spawn points and have guys spawn at 5 of them randomly. So in those usually are kind of tied together, and their leash distance is pretty consistent between them, so it's hard to split them. This guy is these are set up as individual, like 3 individual spawns or 4 individual spawns, so they're easier to split. So again, this is a tier 5 Lich, and also this is not guaranteed to be what it's going to be forever. This is my first stab at trying to come up with a tier 5. Uh-oh, the dog is eating up. Yes, I'm annoying you. Back into the covers. And yes, Envy Bow was nerfed, which really means it was unintentionally. I didn't realize that it had been set to already point to the Zen Penetrator bow stats, which are supposed to be the best in the game. It's probably one of the hardest items in the game to get. You have to get 2 very rare drops off of a very difficult fight. I haven't checked to see how many there are in the game, but I know there's only a few in the game. The Envy fight, however, can be done by 1 or 2 people, 70, level 70 or something, who know what they're doing. And it's not very difficult, and it's a decent drop rate. But what I didn't notice was I thought it was taking the stats from a base wooden bow, and it was actually taking the stats from a Zen Penetrator, because someone put that in as the placeholder. Sure, I'll join your party. So anyways, it was unintentionally set to be Zen Penetrator plus some more stuff. So the nerf was to nerf it down. So when I tested, I do a couple of different tests, and there's no absolute test I can do on these things to determine DPS because it all depends on what skills you're using with it. My test earlier today showed that right now it's about 20% lower than the Zen Penetrator in its current form, and I'll probably get that to around 10% worse. Again, though, it has different values to it because it may have a higher peak damage, higher peak critical because it has +1 critical bonus over other things. But there's a lot of variables go into it. Again, just something like changing your strength on those things, because like the Zen Penetrator has one of the cool things about it is it's made from a staff and from a spider silk belt. And my thought was that that's like a bow that would really hold up to like a beefy dude pulling it. So it has a pretty high strength bonus compared to most other bows in the game. Let's see. Question, is this room available just in full PvP dungeons or even in friend? No, you can totally do this in friend mode. You can play it anywhere. The place it drops is only in PvP mode, but we'll be changing. We won't be changing this one, but we'll be adding several more. Hopefully, I can get a few more rigged up for next week. By next Thursday, I'm planning on getting maybe 4 out there. And again, still leaning towards a one that might be from have creatures of the style of Obsidian or Ruined Keep. I think is what it's actually called. I think it's called Obsidian Keep in our data, but we changed the name. But yeah, you can get these from. You can place them in non-PvP dungeons. The current blueprint to make this room only drops in a PvP dungeon. This is a room out of the fall. If you think it's a pretty room, you should go spend some time in the fall. But again, there'll be adventure encounter scenes coming up that are not from PvP scenes. And some of the ones you guys have, I'm just going to do the same thing we did with this, which is we just turned it. You already had the room, and we turned it into an encounter room. The one thing that's going to change that I'll have a patch for shortly, hopefully, tomorrow morning for, is if you do not have a totem placed, then you will. Oh yeah, this says right there. You can see it's tier 15 lich. If you do not have a totem placed, then nothing will spawn in it. Let's see. Going back. President of the Earth, tags for your Twitch stream. Only RPG and English are showing up. Again, pretend that your grandfather is doing a stream, or maybe your dad is doing a stream. That's what this is. MMORPG. That's good feedback. I'm going to. Hey, Dad, I want cake. That's funny that you mentioned that, because the wife is calling me to remind me that I'm supposed to go get cupcakes for Maxine's birthday tomorrow at school. Ooh, there's an AMA tag. I'll add that one. Should be A for Ask Atos Anything. All right, so I'm seeing here is actually make these a little bit tougher still. I think they'll be fine. I think their health and their strength and how hard they hit is fine. I need to get a few more special things on them, like maybe having the different resistances and such. Because this is tier 5. This should be challenging for even experienced people. Although we do have Rada Torment and Applesauce. Looks like he's got some pretty decent stats. All these guys are all pretty good. You guys can talk amongst yourself. I'm adding some tags to my stream. Now, they don't let me just add anything. Yeah, see, they don't have like Ultima or Ultima Online. I can't do MMORPG. Sadly, yeah, their tag stuff here is not completely open. They just have a list of tags, and it won't let me add random tags. Let me search for Unity 3D. That was another one. Game. Ooh, game development is one of the tags I can add. Game show, game blast, gaming news. Let's see what comes up. RPG. Is Envy Bow dropping at the moment for 2 days, more than 80 kills and no drop? Yeah, it's still dropping, and it's the rate has not been changed. I nerfed the bow. I did not nerf the drop rate. And Pixel Mode Chris, grats with Maxine turning 5. Yes, kept her around till 5. Yes, she turns 5 this weekend. She's a St. Patrick's Day baby. So we will be wearing green and drinking beer or something. Eating cupcakes. And the drop rate, I can go find the drop rate for you since I'm showing you stuff. Let me find the drop rate on Envy Angel. Should be a loot bundle here somewhere. Hold on 1 minute and I'll tell you exactly what the drop rate is, because that's how I roll. Loot drop. Aha, so maybe I need to change that. It is 29 or 30 times out of 31 times you will get a crappy bow, and then 1 in 31 times when you kill her you will get a get the good bow. So it's a little worse than I thought it was. I thought it was like 1 in 20, but it's actually 1 in 31 is the exact number for those who were curious. So you should have to kill her 31 times. Donis asked, question, can you make this room available just in PvP dungeons since it is a reproduction of a PvP zone and droppable just there? That would be difficult to do now since a lot of people already have them placed and they may not have. We could do something where we only make it spawn. Rather than punish the non-PvPers, though, I'd rather reward the PvPers and add some extra cool stuff to it for PvP-only version. Right now I'll have to check to see if we can change up the spawns for it in PvP. Save me, Vespers! See if I can train back onto these guys. Choo-choo, train! Coming through. Where'd my buddy go? Oh, it looks like Jam Lamb's dying to him. Oh no, Vespers is out there fighting him. Yeah. Yeah, Vespers can probably take these guys. Oh, this is the worst part about doing streaming is I have to sit up straight. Kind of. Sort of. Not used to doing that. I'm usually like slumped all the way down. Reading a couple more here. Let me do some math for you real quick. Hold on. Let's see if it is 1 divided by 31. 1 minus alright, so if you kill hold on, I'm doing some math to tell you just how unlucky you guys are with these people claiming they've killed 100 and killed 80 and 120. How there is a 7% chance that it would not drop for you if you killed it 80 times. I'm thinking it just feels like you've killed them 80 times, but I actually have not quite made it there yet. Whoops. 1, 2, 0. There we go. And 2% chance you could kill it 120 times and not get a drop. Because we all love statistics and probability. Let me get back to answering a few more questions here. You guys want me to turn this thing up to 11 and put the tier 6 thing on there? I think I've got that available. You guys seem to be having no problem with that. So I'm going to be evicting you guys here because I'm going to go turn this back to deco mode. There's a problem, Shep 311. XP seems low for these, 4K for one of those. No, they should be higher. There's a problem with XP for these guys right now for anything tier 3 and above. Hopefully Undone is fixing it. I have not heard a confirmation from him. It is absolutely my bug, but I'm on a live stream and I can't fix it. Oh, looks like Bobby Undone already fixed it. Gave me the change list number. Good job, Bobby. Yes, you did. You heard a confirmation. I did? Okay. There we go. Yes, I did now. Let's see. Let me get back to questions here. I can tell you what the experience actually is for those guys. Those are tier, let's say tier 15. Hold on, wait for it 1 second. I'm getting there. Those should be 11,000, 12,000, and 10,000 is what those should be. They might not be. Again, because we're seeing some experience problems that we just had. Belladonna Rose, I want a troll totem. And yes, that is actually one of the ones I'm trying to get in for this next one. There's some headaches in setting up the encounter runes, but the larger time sink is I then have to go and create special versions of all the creatures I want to put in there to make sure that they have slightly toned down experience, not 4K, these should have been 12K, and turn down loot and proper challenge for the dungeon stuff. But anyways, that's the bigger time sink, and I'm going to try to do that I'm going to try to get trolls this next release and add a troll totem, because that's the other thing I have to do is then go create all the troll totems and the troll essences and that type of stuff. Maybe it'll be like instead of troll essence, I'll do like troll booger or something like that. And you have to combine 100 troll boogers to make a troll totem, tier 1. But yeah, hoping to make that one even more challenging than this one is. So, Mishikal, you for those who got in late, the area behind me here that you can see now because I don't have my chroma cam on is actually where I'm going to be doing the shipping. Those are the boxes that remain to be shipped. They are sadly all at my house, which means I'm going to be the one shipping them. So to make it a little bit of fun, and so that you guys know something is actually happening, I'm going to be doing some live streams, hopefully starting next week, where it'll be 2 hours of me printing labels, shipping boxes to you guys. We'll see how it goes. Again, we're having some data problems because the person who's in charge of that suffered major back injury and is just now able to sit up long enough to get at a computer. So let's see. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to be making this dungeon tougher for you guys. Let me go adjust that. Did I switch that already? Disable adventure. So those guys should all get ejected now. And Mishkal, if you're on the stream when I'm doing one of those streams and you tell me your name, I will look you up right that very moment. And if needed, you can confirm your address with me in chat because I hide my chat whenever I'm in these things. So you can do private chat with me, not worry about it getting out. And then I will get you your box, like ship it right then. Some people want their boxes more than others, and I definitely want to favor you guys who are have been so patient but still really, really, really want your box. So let me get a totem 6 on here, and we can see if this feels like it should be. Totem tier level 6. Let's see. Try that guy out. Copy. Just like your dad. I'm saying everything I'm typing. Here we go. Boom, level 6. Alright, tough guys. If you can kill this, I'm going to go back and make these guys tougher. I'm pretty sure you will be able to kill these, knowing who's here. And get ready to get ejected again. Patch note update. Sean, I'll try to get a patch note update done when I get this last patch out and include the stuff from the last 2 patches. I talked through the patch notes, but I know you guys don't all watch my stream. That's crazy. It does look like I'm up to 134 people right now, though, so that's good. But yeah, I had announced the patch notes. The other thing I'm behind on, apologies to Jack and Laz especially, is the daily stand-up notes. We have still been doing daily stand-ups, but I have not come back and typed them all up, cleaned them all up, and put them in there. So I need to go do that because I'm about a week behind, I think. So I'll try and get that done tomorrow morning too. Hey Chris, speaking of Jack and Laz, are you going to take them up on their wood pulp challenge, crafting challenge? I know it's horrible. Again, that's one of the things I kind of try to stay out of a bit. Did I already switched this to adventure mode? Yes, I did. Just like your dad, I forget why I walked into the kitchen. But I seriously, I know it's tedious and painful and don't have time to do it because some of it comes down to, do I ship Mishkala's box or do I do the wood pulp challenge? Buff, buff, buff. As always, everybody around me has, let's see, Jamalam has like, what is that? That 9, 18, so 17, so 23 buffs on. I have 3. Oh, one of them's stillness and soothing music. Yep, I can already tell I'm going to have to pump these guys up a little bit. I'll figure out something to give these guys to make them a bit more challenging. Like I said, these guys, just because I was in a hurry for this release, I increased their stats along our formula, plotting it up to higher tiers, but I did not do anything else for them. So really, they're just take an old lich, give them some more health, some more strength, some more dex, some more int. You know, does a little more damage, has a lot more hit points, gives more experience. And yeah, and tier 6 is kind of, I mean, we want, so keep in mind, tier 6 should be, like, that's the final toughest you can ever get boss fights. We want to make sure that's on par with the toughest stuff in game. Although these look like they're giving a pretty good fight here. They didn't die quick, at least, but they also didn't kill, did they kill anybody? No, they didn't even kill anybody. So, if they're not killing anybody, I need to go buff them up. What is going on here? Those are obviously some spell effects. Oh, hold on a second. I got to put Mishkal. Also, since you got here late, and I'm sure I'm butchering your name, but Mishkal is, I've been taking people's names and looking them up. You guys all have such cool names. All right, let me go check for you real quick. Yep, you're also not on the list. So I think I have a list of the boxes that were shipped by the boxes that were shipped by the French company, and then the boxes that we have already shipped. And I had the thing, so it looks like the list I'm missing, since I'm 0 for 5 right now, is a list of actual people to ship, which probably explains why I'm having some tough times correlating this data. Chaos is working on pulling that data right now. And again, I'll be on stream next week. Hopefully we can get this solved and I can get the addresses by next week and I can start doing some shipping, because I think I can ship, you know, easily ship 50 boxes in a stream. And more importantly, I can ship the guys like Mishikal who really want their boxes and have been super patient with us. So, all right, let me read up. Let's see. Nicotito Smono Maxos, person with a long name. Are there any elementals apart from water viable for high-level scenes? I mean, they add some to the DPS, and that's really what they become. Is in high-level scenes, that's kind of what we look at. Is those are going to be, equivalent to like having an ongoing dot. But they also can pull a little bit of aggro off and possibly keep you alive a little bit, but they also die pretty quick. So, and yes, as Christ Pallet said, you can ship $50 if you don't answer a ton of questions. But yes, I like reading your questions and answering your questions because I'm getting got a good half dozen notes already today. Oh, look, Cynicist is here. He heard his name mentioned. So, no, that's what I was saying is I can either choose to ship boxes or I can do the scroll challenge. I'd rather be fixing these lich sharpshooters. Oh, that's a player pit, I think. Oh, no, that's actually out of the room. They just hit the kiting distance. I'd rather be fixing these guys and making them have decent loot and decent rewards rather than doing your challenge. I know it's tedious, but I'm not the guy you need to convince to do that one. University Southern North of USNC Online. I'm not sure what USNC is. I thought it was North Carolina or something, but is there plan to nerf bows compared to swords and shield? There's going to be some small tweaks. I'm trying to not nerf too much, but bows will probably get a little bit of a nerf. Just a few things kind of combined with different bonuses. And the thing I really don't like is having any of the categories be able to like have one-shot effects on high-level players in the game. It's not satisfying to get one-shotted by a bow. And if you watch the pirate event this weekend, I got one-shotted a few times. Let's see. Going back through here, reading back up a little bit. Good question. Juan Solo MVP. Chris is a death mage. Why do I need a dungeon, or what can I do inside if it's only liches? That was just for this release. Each release I'm going to be adding probably one major category of encounter rooms and a few more encounter rooms. Hopefully I can get a couple of these guys hooked up next week. I was saying the next one will be kind of I planned on doing something along the lines of a ruined keep style, so you can look at it and it'll be trolls will be the top thing, and then probably some trolls and maybe some satyrs backing them up or something. But yeah, it's not intended to be liches as the only encounter forever. If you look on our schedule, I think these weren't supposed to be out this release, but we wanted to get it out early so we could do some testing and find stuff like, hey, guess what? If you don't do this one thing exactly right, then things don't give experience or loot. And start tracking some of these things down before it becomes too painful with 5 different rooms to deal with. So we will be getting to that, though. We will be getting to the other rooms. Yeah, and Beezus is the one you need to get to try the scroll challenge. He knows, but I mean, it's also one of those things where it's really tough to figure out the balance and how much time things should take. And Athenal says, if you want to look at something, look at pole arms. Yes, pole arms and bows will probably both come down just a hair. And swords are still mostly viable. And again, bludgeon is the one I'm going to be spending the most time on trying to lift it up. But again, that doesn't just mean it's going to be more DPS. That's kind of the thing I'm trying to get rid of is, get away from just all people look at as DPS. And I think we may be caught up here. So I think these guys are, yeah, they're able to, so they're able to kill these guys. Oh, too easy. I didn't notice if I got experience or not. I, of course, will not be able to tell by looking at my spreadsheet or my sheet because I cheat. I got 785 billion experience in the pool. You'd think I'd be better. All right. So I've been getting calls from the wife, which means the kiddo is on the way home, and I'm coming up on 2 hours into my stream here. Any final questions? And again, for those who missed the early stuff, I'm going to start doing some streams for shipping, and I'll be shipping boxes on the stream. And I'll probably, again, trying to sort out the address problem and figure out what is up with the list that we actually found that we thought were the good list, but so far 5 people have given me names and addresses, and none of them are on the list of being owed a box. I absolutely trust you guys, and I think these lists are just bad. So I'm going to try to get that resolved by next week so I can actually do some streaming where I will stop if you guys are in stream and you tell me, send me my box, dummy. Then I will search where you find your box and ship it. Take a break from the stream and ship it. Maybe I'll sing songs while I do it too. Maxine has joined me in singing songs. It's awesome. Her favorite song or her favorite singer right now is Florence and the Machine. Good choice. And Alice Martin. Also a pretty good choice if you haven't heard her before. That's good. I've got her in stuff that's not just like Disney music. Yeah, let me get party feedback here. You guys can't see that, but what do you guys think? Tougher? Easier? Dubs Wub said, I died twice, but I'm kind of squishy. MR Shadow couldn't solo one. Now, these are supposed to be the toughest challenge, well, for the Lich tier stuff anyways. All right, Vesper says it's pretty tough. I will take that as, we'll say that this is going to be the current level of it. If we come back later on and you guys decide that, you know what, this would be better if it were actually much harder, then I will bump it up another notch for you guys. All right, sounds like we got a pretty approved first stab at difficulty. I am going to try to get a few more abilities on them. It probably will be something in the category of like if you try to fight them all in there together rather than pulling them out or splitting them somehow, that you'll have some troubles, like a nearby creatures boost or something. That's also, I plan on doing some of those. I haven't done one since the swamp thing, but some of the machines that help people out, the buff things that you have to kill, the buff things. That which lurks has stopped lurking to speak out. Could the leashing problems for pet summons be fixed, as well as undead mastery not given the full bonus? The leashing problem for pet summons, I'm going to guess this is caused by the breaks in the nav mesh stuff. We can look at that some more, but that's one of those things that's really tough because it's largely content based. If it is what I think you're talking about, which is we have breaks in the nav mesh and you cross over the break easily, but the creature can't figure out the pet can't figure out how to get across it. Has problems. The undead mastery not given the full bonus. I can look into that. I didn't realize that was actually happening. Undead mastery, and I'm assuming that is mastery and not specialization, like death magic specialization. Undead mastery not giving the full bonus. Got it. Anything else? Dinner time? Out of here? Belladonna says dinner time. It is getting close to dinner time for me too. Let's see. Will maps be getting makeover in episode 2? So the quality of maps in episode 2 should be much better than the average quality of maps in episode 1. That's kind of a... I mean, we talked about it during episode 1, but we learn so much, we improve things, our art library gets a little more refined, how we put stuff together gets better. It's just easier to make better maps. But in addition to that, we're going to be holding ourselves to a much higher standard for the quality of maps in episode 2. Those who haven't heard my spiel on it, is we're going to be creating less but better quality stuff for episode 2. Still quite a bit of content, but the thing we're trying to do is also put tools in your hands, which, like this encounter room, is just an early taste, but put tools in the player's hands so that players can also create content, and not just creatures, but also like quest NPCs, storylines, probably dialogue tree type stuff will be one of the early things that comes along, so you can program NPCs so they have a set of responses that they can give to things. So you can set up an NPC in your dungeon to actually, do the storytelling or be the quest guy. But hopefully we will get that all in your hands by end of year, have that type of stuff so you guys can basically make your own dungeon. You can put down the encounters. You can make the encounters different difficulties. Dungeons will provide loot and experience for people. You can set up quests. You can have keys that'll drop. You can have chests that'll open under certain circumstances. Have all those things in place that you guys need so that you can do some content creation as well. But yes, episode 2 maps will be better. Episode 1 maps, they're getting a pass right now to fix mostly just the most egregious problems like stuck spots. There's a lot of stuck spots in our maps. But we're going through and fixing those right now. We actually have a chat channel that all it does is when you guys get stuck, when you do /stuck, you have to enter a message now. And if you put a message in there now, it shows up in our channel so we can go and take a look at it. USNC, is episode 2 seamless to episode 1, like DLC content versus a new game? That is still to be determined. Most likely the answer is yes. It'll just be you go across over to it'll be new content. One of the things that has been tossed around is still a long shot, but does have some advantages enough that we're continuing discussing, is that when you move to episode 2 content, like your character's still level 110 in all existing content, but there will be some episode 2 content that when you go to that content that you basically are reborn, kind of Ultima-ish style where you restart. You'll carry over your experience, you'll carry over all the items, like store-bought items, you'll carry over most of your equipment, but when you move over, you'll be back to level 1, but you'll have rested experience equal to however many experience you had before. So you'll level up at a much faster rate. Every time you earn experience, you'll get extra experience from your rested pool. So you'll level up faster, but you would start over. And that would give us the opportunity to do some balancing on things that it's really difficult to do now without you guys getting out the guillotines on us. As we sit here and talk about nerfing bows and polearms. All right. Summer Breeze, you are correct. Thank you for the stream, Atos. Now go get those cupcakes. Yes, I will be going to get some cupcakes in just a minute. Are episode 2 lands still coming with this release? I believe the answer to that is no. We actually ended up eating up a ton of... Well, one, we still have a bunch of questions we're trying to answer on how some things are going to work and the plan, and we didn't want to rush a map out. But 2, we ended up spending a lot of time on like getting episode 2 content done, like dungeon encounter stuff and all these new features that if you guys haven't heard, there's going to be a lot of stuff coming on that we haven't even mentioned that you guys love. That's all high priority, but like that's kind of here, and then like way up here is the priority of make the game stickier for new players, because we're sitting on some advertising money that we've been saying we're going to spend, and we keep looking at the numbers. And things are not as sticky as we want them to, and we don't want to throw a bunch of money at it until we get that fixed. So fixing some of those things is our #1 priority by a mile, and it should be you guys' #1 priority by a mile too, because that's what brings in the new players, and that both makes for more groups available, more people to trade with. It helps the economy in massive ways. It helps pot owners keep their pots full with active players. It helps PvP guys because they've got people to PvP against and all that stuff. So getting new players into the game is #1 priority. Anything that will improve that, and that's actually some of the stuff we talked about, or I talked about earlier that you might have missed, is aimed at that. It's the early on giving players an option to say, do you want to be a quester or do you want to be a homesteader? If you say homesteader, basically like you get to the outskirts, you'll get that question. If you say homesteader, then boom, it kicks you to your own row lot with a row, and then you get a little quest on setting up your row. And that's one of those things that the sole purpose of that is get more people in game, get them stickier, and get them in the game. Show them the best parts of the game first. Once you're in game and you love the game, obviously you'll suffer through a few bugs and quests. But when you're just starting off, that's kind of a rough experience. So we're trying to highlight some of the better stuff first. But anyways, that's going to come first, and that was one of the many reasons. Oh, the store was another thing that sucked up time. This was answering the will episode 2 lanes show up this release. So no, there will not be episode 2 lanes showing up in this release. There will be more encounters showing up for new content, but trying not to rush it too much. Yes. And that's the other fear is if we put out content now, it will be trash content. We've got a lot of that in episode 1, so we're trying to avoid doing that. Fixed taming would also be super sticky. Taming is fixed. What I need to figure out is ways to make it so we can more correctly balance the creatures. Have you guys give up options to make it so it's still balanced, and not everybody's going to have a tamed pet out because they're super powerful. I mean, and some of that again we did with the specialization. I'm still working on other ways that you guys can make choices like that, or give up features, give up other abilities to make your pet actually super, much more powerful. Please stop saying you want to make new players sticky. Twitch will ban you. Dirty mind. Let's see. Nope. Thank you, Snuggles. I think that's cheers. That does something. Man, Snugs, you're tearing up the crowd there. I just looked at these numbers here. There's a little chart up there. I think T-Branch isn't in today. I haven't seen him talking, so he was number 2 and Gravity was number 2. But again, I'm going to go spend some time with the daughter, who should be home shortly based on how long ago the wife called to tell me she's on the way home, and get her some cupcakes and make her some dinner. And I will be up at 4 a.m. tomorrow morning again to look at these things for you, because that's kind of the schedule I'm rolling with, is working 4 a.m. to about noonish, and then trying to get on a stream with you guys. Second ring slot, Undead Mastery, Water Well and Dungeons, profiling crowded NPC cities for performance on NPCs on lots for performance, and investigate bumping up max limit for deco stacking from 5 to maybe 8. Those are the big things I got out of today. So you guys, thanks so much. Oh, there's T-Branch. He is here. Apparently got offended that I called him out there. Thank you all for the pizza money. You guys can keep that competition going as long as you want to, but I will be back tomorrow. Oh, no. Yes, tomorrow I will be on the official stream. I'll be hosting Star, so Mojito Cam will have to move somewhere else probably. Sorry, buddy, you're going to have to move. And that Mojito Cam will be replaced by Star. So I will see you guys tomorrow, and thanks for tuning into the stream, and see you in game. And thanks for all the testing, guys. See ya. Oh, and I got to figure out who to raid now. Let me stop my stream. Let me figure out a raid person. Hold on. Wait for it. Wait for it. I'm trying to get to our thing. Trying to get there. Let's see, who do we got? Oh, we got a few people today. Oh, we got Skeggy's a good one. Ambrose Fox has got quite a few. We got, well, there's someone, Case Nash 007, that says they're doing Shroud, but they're actually playing Minecraft, it looks like. And Sheldon Cooper Soda. I think we're going to go with the little guy here today. Want to give Skeggy some, but I'm going to try Sheldon. He's one I've been seeing streaming a lot here lately, and I think he needs some new subscribers. So we'll try raiding him. If I can type today. Here we go. You ready? And raid. And we're going to raid in 5 seconds. Raid now. And ending my stream.